Welcome back. You are still watching the morning show here on Arise News. And we're talking to a politician. You've been in politics for quite some time, 10 years now.
Wow.
Now, as a woman in politics, what has been your experience? Can you take us through your journey so far?
Yes, I always start my phrase with, it's been one hell of a ride. Yeah, what a journey. You know, when you first come into politics, you're full of ideas. You want to change Nigeria. And you know you have a lot to give. You know that your community, first I assessed all the resources of my community, and I was sure that we had a lot to contribute to Nigeria, that Nigeria would appreciate. And I wanted my community to be given that chance, because I didn't see how our resources had been harnessed for the benefit of Nigeria. But it's been really tough, and I have a
When you say it's been tough, how? I mean, you've been in House of Assembly, right?
Yes.
No.
But you wanted to go to House of Reps.
Yes,
Okay, what was your experience? You came from France, right, which is a different system. When you came back and you went to Edo State, what did you encounter?
You saved
Did you receive a lot of support?
As an honorable commissioner.
Yes, when I came, the support was enormous. Everybody wanted change. And I contested on the ANPP, on the platform of the ANPP. President Buhari, our current president, was running for president at that time. And I looked at the platform where I thought I would be able to sell someone who really would be able to change the country. So I connected with President Buhari, and everybody bought into my message. The PDP had Colonel Akogun, the retired Colonel Akogun, and the AC at that time. Yes, Konetunde Akogun, a worthy son of Akoko-Edo. And the AC had its own candidate, and there was me, the three of us, and I won. I won resoundingly. But as usual...
It was Colonel Akogun that went to the...
Yes, I'll get to that story. Of course, in connivance with the electoral body at that time, there was some manipulation with the results. And yes, we proved it in court. The lower tribunal gave its judgment, and they annulled the results because we were able to get hold of the ballot papers, and they were counted in court, and most of it was for ANPP.
Okay.
Yes, it was a unanimous judgment, and so they asked us to go for new elections. In fact, the chairman was caustic in her remarks. She was so unhappy and disappointed with everything that happened during the elections, because I had so many witnesses, the elderly, the young, women, and you would be amazed at the kind of people that came out to witness. It was like Akoko-Edo was fed up with manipulation of results, and they showed it. Then the PDP appealed. They appealed the lower tribunal's judgment, and there was a controversial ruling at that time. They came up with a decision which, on technical grounds, I lost. And they said I'd filed one day. They went back to my petition, in the lower tribunal, where a ruling had already been made, and said we filed one day out of time. And for that, we lost on technicalities. That was 2007.
You were compensated with commissionership appointments.
Yes.
You held two portfolios,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Well, was that good enough for you?
No, I'm not fulfilled, because you wouldn't call that a compensation. They needed me for the job, and I didn't ask for the commissionership. I was seated at home one day, and people started calling me that your name is on the radio. You must have been
aggrieved. And then the governor will look around and say, look, let's find something for her to keep her busy.
Well, this came in 2011.
Okay.
In 2011, well, you're kind of right there that I may have been aggrieved, but I didn't show my grief. I continued to live in the village after the drama of 2007. I didn't leave my people. I continued to work for them, and I was happy doing that. I even set up a farm there, and I can proudly call myself a farmer now. Yeah.
You want to run again for House of Reps?
Yes.
Have you picked your nomination form and which party?
I am under the APC.
Oh, under the APC?
Yes, because after 2007, APC, ANPP, we kind of came together. There was CPC. I was working with the CPC, but like an agreement, a coalition. I'll go back briefly to the 2011 event. Now, there was going to be elections in 2011, of course, and I wanted to run again. I was well on my way to winning the primaries. We had rallies in my local government, and the chairman of the party, our party at the moment, had come and introduced me and, said, well, that's our candidate. You all know her. And everybody was happy and thought, okay, this woman who is still with us will get the chance, to do great things for us and bring federal presence to our community. And suddenly, 5 days to the elections, a number of us were called and we were told that the party leadership wanted to shake things up. And they did some juggling and rejuggling. The senator, Dr. Lakoju at that time, the person who was going for the senatorial, Dr. Lakoju, Tunde Lakoju, yes, was told to step aside and was compensated with the commissionership. And someone new came in. The present honorable member, the House member, Peter Patterson, who was contesting for the Senate, was compensated with my own, what I was running for the House of Reps, and I was told to take the House of Assembly ticket. And I didn't think twice when I said no. It's not about, being in the corridors of power, by all means. No, it's about service. I have a plan for my people, and I don't want to take anyone's ticket.
But if you had gone to the House of Assembly, you would still be serving your people?
Yes, I would still be serving my people, but
and they had given your ticket to someone else, and they had allotted another space to you. In Nigeria, you know how it is. Politics is arranged,
Politics is arranged, but politics should not always be arranged. The people should have a voice. Yeah. It's not about, oh, I must be there by all means. Okay, mine was arranged and given to somebody else, but I don't want another person's ticket to be arranged. He had his own vision. He had been working with the people for years. He had struggled with us. We were all in the struggle together to get PDP out of Akoko-Edo at that time. Why would I now tell him, step aside? No, I couldn't do it. A lot of people were not happy. They said, no, this is Nigeria. They grab yours, you grab somebody else's. And I said, no, it's not my Nigeria. And everybody who has a vision should get a chance to be able to express their vision.
Apart from this politics of arrangements, they call it arrangee politics. That's the word I was looking for. Now, what other challenges have you faced as a female politician?
Yeah, let's talk about women in politics. Yeah, it says no woman in the APC has ever represented Edo State, correct? In the Federal House of Rep and even Senate.
Yes.
How do you think that you're going to overcome this challenge?
Oh, the men have been representing us. They've done their own bit. It's time they give women a chance and let people see what female representation could be like. I've never run based on the gender issue. I've always run on competence. And I've shown my people, what competence could be, what to expect. Imagine, I have been living there and using private funds to do the things I have done, giving them health care. I brought doctors, we did surgeries. I have done a lot of tree planting in Akoko-Edo, in the 3 major cities, also Saigara and Ibilo. Akoko-Edo has a lot of resources, gold in Dangbala, limestone in Ikbishi, a lot of it, dolomite, calcite, glass stone, you won't believe it. And all the stones, granite is abundant, spread all over Akoko Edo, and all these mineral resources that we have, they need to be harnessed properly. We have like 60 companies mining every day, but you need to go to the areas where they are mining. They're like refuse dumps. There's no corporate social responsibility at all there. No scholarship schemes. The children go to school. On coming back from school, they go to the mines and start working.
Well, I would still like to take you back to the question she asked, because we've had quite a number of female politicians on this program.
Yes.
And when we ask them about challenges, they complain about money, about cost of nomination form. Maybe money is not an issue for you. They complain about male domination. They complain about a number of things. But you say you are just campaigning on the basis of competence. Are you saying where you are concerned, the fact that you're a woman is not a problem? Do you have your own team of thugs, able-bodied men who are protecting you? If there is violence, do you have people you can mobilize to offer you protection? Some of these features of Nigerian politics.
When people like Dr. Lakuji contested, the issue of thugs was completely non-existent in Akoko Edo. It didn't exist at all. We're very peaceful people. But money was introduced into politics at the federal level, with the big sums that they're paying legislators. And people got desperate, and it was like, by all means, we need to win. But Akoko Edo people are still basically innocent in respect of thuggery. And although we do have some security challenges now in Akoko Edo, it's a very open place. In fact, the first case of Boko Haram was recorded in Edo State, was recorded in Akoko Edo, because it's close to the borders, Kogi State on one side and Ondo State on the other side. I don't have thugs. I don't even have, okay, yes, I do have a catapult, but that I bought because I loved the design. But as far as any weapon is concerned, apart from my cooking knives in the kitchen and my catapult that I bought because I just loved the catapult, I don't have thugs. And I have won without thugs, in the past, and I do intend to win without thugs again.
Yeah, but if you look at, you want to go to the federal level, right?
Yes.
The House of Reps. What is the attraction about the House of Reps? Why not Senate? Why not run for governor? I mean, there are some women who want to run for governor. Why House of Reps? Because you rejected House of Assembly, you've explained that, but why the House of Reps? Why not the Senate? Why not governor?
Well, you've been talking about marginalization of women.
Yes,
House of Reps.
We want to talk about today.
10 years ago, when the president incumbent went, the party said, oh, okay, thank you for not, they call it snatching someone's ticket. Just wait 8 years down the line. I remember the phrase, very well. 8 years down the line, the party will be supporting you to have a chance to go and do something in the federal. And I said, fine, 8 years is not a long time. It looks like a long time. Now, why not Senate? Look at it now. For the House of Reps, the incumbent wants a third term. He's come to me and said, oh, look, I'm sorry I have to renege. I want to do a third term. I haven't done this, I haven't done that, and I want a chance to do it. And I told him, I said, look, government is a continuum, and everything we do, we have a chance to do is incremental. Give me that chance. What you want to do, let's sit down and talk about it. And I would continue what is hanging, and I would continue if God takes me there, where, on that level at the moment. Then, what do they call him? The Speaker of the House of Assembly, who I helped initially, well, not just me, a group of us helped him to go to the House of Assembly. He has done 3 terms in the House of Assembly. Now, some people say, oh, we want our own structure, You worked for Oshomole, Comrade Adams Oshomole. He's had his own structure. Now we want to build our own structure, and we want to bring in the speaker to contest for the House of Reps. So you can see that is the House of Reps. Already, people are telling me, oh, the dynamics have changed, you know, and we want to anoint somebody. And I've told them, no, you can't anoint anybody. Only God can anoint. And let the people decide, you know. So that is the House of Reps. If I'm going through this battle with the House of Reps, if I say I want to go to the Senate, what do you think is going to happen? They will come and lift the House and me together and look for somewhere in the Sahara Desert to go and throw me until the elections are over. You know, for women, at the moment in the APC, there's just 7 of us who picked the nomination forms. 7 in the entire Edo State.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? And the 7 are not even being talked about in the leadership. Yeah. When I asked someone in the leadership, I said, look, are you going to implement the 35% affirmative action? He said 35%. You're not even talking about 1%.
Wow.
You know, you're talking about 35. Of course not.
But that's the state of the chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole. Yes. Have you taken up this matter with him? I mean, since you have access to him, to see, you know, to say, look, the party needs to pay more attention to women political participation.
I have cried out loud with the party leadership. They're not listening. That's why I've gone to the press. I have not had a meeting with my former boss because he's been very busy, but I'm hoping to meet him this week in Abuja and discuss.
But in spite of these difficulties, you have picked up the form?
Oh, yes.
Have you gone for screening, or you are going?
No, I'm going today.
Today?
Yes, this is the only thing that kept me from being in Abuja.
So how optimistic are you now that, you know, the men say they don't want these women who are looking for position?
The people say they want to try a woman. It's time for them to try a woman. The men have been fathers to them. I'm not saying they haven't been good fathers, but they want to try what a mother would be like. You know, and I think the people should be given a chance to. We don't want any imposition, you know, telling us that, oh, somebody did very well in the House of Assembly, you know, and we want to reward him, you know, with the House of Reps ticket is totally abominable, you know, and unacceptable to us, you know. And the people of Akoko Edo are asking the government, the APC leadership, to give them a chance to vote for the person they want, not indirect primaries, because we all know what happens with indirect primaries. They're instructed, you know. Someone in the leadership told me when I said, look, the people are not going to vote for this person or that person. You know that, and I know. He said, yes, you know, I know that, and you know that. He says, but we will tell the people who to vote for, and if they don't, we know what to do to them. They must. They don't have, you know, a choice. And I said, no, you can't choose for the people. What are you going to do? Clean their brains out, you know, and replace it with something else? Turn them into robots? It can't happen anymore. And this is a test for the APC leadership, you know, to prove that they really are sincere. I've been with the APC for 10 years. I don't intend to go anywhere. I'm staying, and I'm changing things, and I'm going to be part of that change.
Okay, so what do you think is going on really right now? You just said that there are only six of you, seven of you that are participating in this. Yes. What do you think can be done to ensure more women participation in Nigerian politics? I mean, 6 is seven. I keep saying 7, 6 because you're here, and it's a relatively small number. And what's the awareness? Why aren't women participating?
It's too small a number for the APC leadership. In fact, we should be embarrassed, really, that only 7 women. First, the cost of the nomination forms. We know men, you know, have more money than women and are able to do these things. In fact, the economy is kinder to men than women. We know that. we are still fighting.
Really?
Yes,
despite the fact
much
that
kinder.
women control the living room, control the other room, control the kitchen. And all that.
Can the men control the living room? Women work and at the same time control all these places. You know, so they're already disadvantaged. Ask a man to man the house for just one day, and it's a disaster. You know, so.
No, some men are very domestical.
Very few. Very few. Yes, there are, but very few. So now, cost of nomination forms. Well, we surmounted that. Initially, on our chat group, we thought, oh my God, you know, where our campaign funds are already being eaten into, or, you know, being wiped out. Okay, secondly, this violence thing. They know that women are the first to run when there's violence, so they use that. You know, when a woman is popular, they'll say, don't worry, on that day we know what to do. That's second of all. Third of all, and most important, is that in the House of Assembly, currently there are only 15 women. It's just 5% of the number of men there. 15 women, 10 belong to the PDP, 5 to the APC. Shameful. APC is the leading party, the ruling party. It should not only be the ruling party in name, it should be the ruling party in everything that's progressive, not just for women, but for every aspect of our lives. Cultism, violence, the marginalization of women, you know, telling women that, no, forget it, you can't get there, you know. And then tokenism. You know, what they do most of the time is when they kick a woman out of our position, then they look for something and say, take this and manage, you know, for now until whenever. And whenever comes, they say, take this again and manage until another whenever. That whenever has ended. It's time for us to move forward, and it's time for us to be the leading light and the shining light in showing people that we not only value our mothers, because every man came from a woman, and when you think about it deeply, a lot of these men who are oppressive towards women are men whose mothers labored to get them to where they are today, who probably had the absence of their fathers in their lives, and their mothers undertook the education on their own.
Well, you said earlier you don't play the gender card, but that's precisely what you are playing now. Well, and it happens with you know, women politicians. Yesterday we had Professor Fumilayo Adesanya Davis, and she too was sounding like you. She was talking about motherhood.
It's not just motherhood. If motherhood, I mean, injecting it, not really talking about it as, oh, I'm running on gender, or, you know, or something like that. Injecting it will, and talking about your mothers. I know a lot of men are sensitive about their mothers.
Some kind of emotional blackmail.
It's not blackmail, it's emotional appeal. You know, Mariam Babangida in those days talked about pillow talk. And
pillow talk?
Yes.
Tell me about that. As a strategy.
Well, and then our current First Lady, Aisha
what do you think
Buhari.
about her administration?
She's super.
Okay.
She's radical. I love her. We had a seminar, and you should have heard the things she said.
Okay.
But she needs to build on the things she said. You know, she needs to hold our hands, you know, raise it up and say, look, I have talked with this person, I've talked with this person, and it's time for you to implement this thing. If we can't implement it 35%, at least start with something. For the House of Reps in Edo State, there's just 3 of us.
Wow.
3 of us. One has had the kind of experience I had in the past. Another one used to be Speaker. And you watched on TV how she was played with her speakership. The first female speaker we had.
Yes.
You know, we were watching live when the chair was taken from her.
Wow.
And she was told to step aside. But this is the kind of debasement of women that we want to stop.
Anyway, let's go beyond women issues and Edo State. You lived in France.
Yes.
So you've lived in a country that you could say works. and then you are in Nigeria, and all the things you've been saying, look like very peculiar challenges.
Yes.
What exactly do you think is wrong with Nigeria as a whole, and what can be done to make Nigeria better?
I'll talk about the two angles. From the woman angle, women are marginalized all over the world, but the only difference between France and Nigeria is that when women contest in France, their votes get counted, for real, and they win or they lose. But in Nigeria, where women contest, except if the men want you to win, even if all the people vote for you, they know what to do to your votes. That's the only difference. And then the issues I've talked about, violence and stuff like that. Then the country, the leadership has to implement something that I think is very vital. Family prosperity is important for the growth of this country. Without family prosperity, I beg your pardon, I think the country will collapse one day. Poverty alleviation, loans, interest-free loans. When you give loans to the rural people and you put interest on top, and there's no moratorium. Most of them are farmers. They plant maybe oil palm. Oil palm takes 5 years at least before it starts.
But this government is doing something like that, something they call trader money, where they give money to small and medium-scale entrepreneurs.
How much do they give?
Well, 10,000 initial investment, then up to a maximum of 50,000.
You think it's too little?
And it's interest-free.
10,000, for goodness sake. What does it take to even put a child in school to buy jam form today? I mean, let's be realistic. Tell me what you can do with 10,000.
No, it's your party. I mean, you are a member of the APC.
I'm not criticizing it. We are thankful. That 10,000 we feed them maybe for 3 days. It will feed the entire family, but at least...
No, if you were to advise the APC government at the federal level to rejig, rethink, redesign their social investment program, what are the kind of things you'll be saying to them?
I would say, please give social security to the elderly, the disabled, and the needy. Those that you identify as, who really need it.
Social security. Yes, where would they get that money from?
There's money in this country, I can tell you. There's a lot of monies that are refunded. Those monies can be committed into things like that. I would say the primary health care centers should be looked into. There should be equipment. It's not just having a building and say, primary health center. People still pay for malaria tests in the primary health centers. And most of them will tell you they're not going because they can't afford to pay for the malaria tests. And malaria kills. I would say, okay, look at it. It should be free and there should be equipment. If I go to the House of Reps, I intend to work with NGOs and bring in equipment. You can get a lot of equipment abroad that are so-called obsolete there, but are useful to us and can save lives here. And all you do is pay for shipping, I beg your pardon. I would say education. Education should be truly free. When you say free education, it's not just a slogan. Agriculture, I would say give land to the youths. Get the youths interested in agriculture. When you bring things, sometimes they bring implements. I have the experience. When they bring implements that are useful, they're not free. They should identify those that are really youths and give them some of these implements free. And then when they come, the useful implements, before you get to the Ministry of Agriculture or their agents to apply, they're all gone. The rich people have bought up everything. And these things are not meant for them. They're meant for the rural areas. So the tourism, I would say domestic tourism, please start with that. There are very beautiful areas here. Sponsor festivals, not only in Abuja. Sponsor every area in Nigeria is rich in culture.
Well, I like the outline you've given, yes. But apparently you are a disciple, political disciple of President Buhari, if I may say so. You were with him in AMPP.
Yes, I was.
You were with him in CPC.
Yeah.
You also followed him to the APC, right? So you've had a long period of political association with the parties that he has led. Now, if you look at his government in the since he assumed office in 2015,
yes.
How will you assess him? Is this the same Buhari, the same vision he had in the AMPP, the CPC, and APC? Are you satisfied with what you have seen in the last 3.5 years of the Buhari administration?
It's been really tough for him. You know, every time he punches, there are counter punches from every angle. And it's not easy to be on the firing line all the time, even in your sleep, you know. And you're just trying to walk through the minds, you know, and see how you can improve your people. He's asked to be given another term, you know, so that he can finally put everything in place. You know, he's done a lot of work, let's face it. You know, if they're frustrating him from every angle, that's not his fault. That's not his fault at all.
Okay, what are some of the things that you would like to see change with his administration?
Yes, I would be straightforward. I would
Yes.
like our change to change a lot of things still, you know, while we still love our party, while we're still for our president, you know, while we're still for the ideals and the ideology and the plans of our party, but we know that it's time for radical change, you know. We can't continue to implement a change of dialogue. No.
Well, the more reason some Nigerians are saying, even if they may be members of the opposition, that given his age and the challenges he has had with his health, that maybe it was about time President Buhari retired and allowed the younger ones to run Nigeria. And you know, of course, there is a not too young to run movement. And I'm sure you are running because you fall into that category of persons who say they are not too young to run.
I support the not too young to run movement. I support the feminist movement. I support the I'm not too old, you know, to retire movement as well, because everybody has something to give. In the United States, you walk into some offices and you see someone who is obviously retired in her 80s, you know, manning the till or manning a computer. You know, my mom is better at the computer than me, you know. Frankly, you know, she's better with figures, with everything that science is than I am. Now, let's take the case of Mahatma
of Malaysia.
Yeah,
He's
93 years old, called back to come and rescue his country. The young people there, the country was falling apart, you know. Let's also talk about Alan Greenspan,
Yes.
who was on the Federal Reserve for goodness knows how long, from when I was just starting out in life, you know. And the name kept occurring and reoccurring and just didn't go away. You know, it didn't matter whether it was the Democratic Party or the Conservatives, they needed him. And the man only left when he said, look, I think I've had enough, you know, you need to bring in someone else. So it's not about age. It's about what you've still got up there to contribute. And as far as I know, if a 23-year-old boy, you know, is a genius, like Bill Gates was at 22 or 21, you know, give him a chance. You know, if a 50-year-old, you know, can do it, give him a chance. And if we need a 90-year-old to come and rejiggle us and put back the puzzle in the proper perspective, why not?
With the coalition against the Buhari presidency, of political parties, I mean, you know, do you see the APC still winning at the center in 2019? Because the parties have come together, both young and old and women and everybody, saying, look, we'll form a coalition of Nigerian political parties and we will defeat the APC at the polls.
APC will win again, but they need to give women a chance to...
What gives you the confidence that APC will win again?
They will win again if women are there routing for them. They need the blessings of the women, and the only way they can get the blessings of women is to give women tickets, allow them to have tickets.
Well, it's been very interesting having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
You know, just to wish you luck.
Thank you so much.
In your ambition, and we'll look out for you.
Thank
if
you,
went,
sir.
We'll be sure we'll be here to invite you again.
Yeah.
Good luck, and
it's
it was
a pleasure to
a
meet you.
Thank you.
I've followed you for several years now. You also are not going away.
No, he is not. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank
Thank you
you
for joining us.